Well, hello my crafty friends, and welcome to another video by yours truly. As you can see, it's yet another Christmas card. So here we go. And as you can see, there's a bit of sparkly bits going on. And I will get to that, and obviously I'm going to show you completely from start to finish how I've done this. And again, I have taken it from the Indigo Blue Mixed Media Special number 12, which is what I did the last card with. And I've done this to emphasize the fact that with these kits, they are really versatile. So you can go as straightforward and easy cards to more complicated cards, mixed media cards like this one is. So the choice is yours. And if you're going for a mixed media card, my thing would be save it for somebody special like friends, family, you know. And the more straightforward, easier ones are the ones that you can post and send out, so it doesn't cost you a lot in postage. So yeah, this is where I've done today's card. So and I have done some preparation a little bit, so let's just give you a little I hope you could yeah, you can see the sparkly bits, and I'll show you how I've done that. And so yes, so that's today's card, and I'm going to just grab my heat gun because I might well need that. So um, because it doesn't take long to dry, but it's always good to well, to let it dry. So okay, I'm going to start with this background. So so what I've used is obviously the stamps, the stencil. Don't underestimate the stencil, because stencils are really useful. And I also used the embossing folder, which I've already done. So it just saved a bit of time. So I'm just going to take this stamp, which is the musical stamp, and I'm going to attach that to a block which I have here. And I'm also going to get my some scrap piece of paper, and I stamped it with Versifying Majestic Blue. So here we go. So again, light tapping all over your stamp. You don't need to go too heavy. And I'm just going to just press that down firmly and just wait a few seconds for the ink to make contact with the card. And now I'm lining up this corner with that corner there, so I'm going to leave myself a bit of a gap up there, but that's fine because we've got like some smaller stamps which we can use, and that will fill in the gaps. So and I'm just going to repeat all the way down. So this time I'm going to use that corner up against that corner. Just line them up. And it doesn't matter if this goes off the edge a little bit, that's absolutely fine, because like I said last time, it gives the illusion that you might have actually cut this from a bigger piece of background paper, whereas in fact you've done it all yourself. So again, light tapping, and then press down on that, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 lovely crisp images. And just get my stamp cleaner and just give that a quick squirt, and then reach over and get my cloth and just give that a quick wipe and dry that off. And then we know that that stamp is good to go for when we come to use it next time. So we can put this back onto our, and get this one, the little, so I'm going to use this little small one here. So I've used the big notes one, and then just going to put that back onto there, back onto there, and just get our, and I'm still going to use the same ink. And what I'm going to do is just fill in these gaps with this little filler stamp. So just, it doesn't matter if you've overlapped the notes a little bit, that's absolutely fine. Just and just do that, just repeat that. What I want to do is keep rotating the stamp a little bit, so I am not stamping up the same way all the time. So we can do this. A bit more, just very light tapping, and then I'm going to just do that, and then we have a little bit just at this bottom, just along here. And then just fill that little corner in. There we go. We have got one stamped background. Very easy, very simple to do. And as you see, I've just used the one color. So cool. And we can clean that. And then we can put this back onto our carrier sheet so that we know where it is. I'm just gonna slightly, yeah, there we go. And put that to one side, because I can put all of that to one side because we're more or less finished with that for the minute. And then we can get our stencil, and then we can do some stenciling. Now I've taken stencil. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get myself a little bit of this is like Scotch tape, because I want to make myself a little hinge, and I am going to rub it, just go over my shorts with the sticky side, because I just want to lose a little bit of that sticky. So I'm just going to right, so let me point this stencil out a little bit. What you've got is like a straight edge all the way along the top, basically, or where that snowflake is. If I hold it properly, you can probably see. So you have got a little bit of a straight edge up there, but that is absolutely fine. So what we're going to do, I'm actually using gesso. Now, I got this from the works many moons ago, and it's 500 ml, and it wasn't all that, well, £5. There you go. So yeah, so I got this from the works, white acrylic gesso. Now, gesso is basically what artists use to seal their canvases. So but we can use it as like a medium for our cards, which is exactly what we're going to do. So I'm just going to, and I would advise, as you can see, I've left a tin foil cover on, and that also helps to stop it drying out, because it can dry out. So I would just be very wary, and just keep it screwed tight and keep this foil on so it goes over, and then you don't need, yeah, so just keep it covered basically when you've finished using it. So I'm just using a little dollop of, and it goes a long way, so just go over the stencil, and I will disappear for a minute, because the important thing is, once you've done this, is to wash it, and I basically just, and if you get any in your hands, just get rid of it. So that little blob I'm still using, and scraping up the excess and just going over. So we can just put that to one side for the minute. Just be careful, because you might have some on the back, so just be careful where you put it. So I'm just going to put it down on this scrap piece of paper, and I am going to clean all this up, put the cap back onto your gesso, and just clean everything up, because otherwise it will harden onto your mat, and we don't want that. And then if I bring this back, just looking to see where, so let me just let you have a look at that. So we have got snowflakes, if you can see that, and that's going to stay wet for a while, so be right back. There, that didn't take too long, and I've got a couple sheets of, which I can put to one side, because we finished with that, and that's all that. Now what we can do now, the next thing is, this will stay wet for quite a while, so we are going to just, this is glamour dust, so you can use fine glitter, anything sparkly. I wouldn't use perfect pearls, because you've got to brush that on, and it might be a bit messy to get it back into the jar. So so I'm just putting, so you could use a fine glitter, something like that, and that will dry as the gesso is drying, so that will dry and it will stick to the gesso. So I hope you can see the sparkle in that. So I'm just going to leave that to completely dry for a few minutes, and then we're going to sort out our robin and our other little bits and pieces. So I'm just going to pour this back into my little pot, waste not, want not, and all that. So that can go into there. That can be screwed back on. We can seal that shut, and we can get rid of that, and we can give our little mat a nice little clean to clean up any extra bits of dust that might be floating around, and give our hands a little bit of a clean. And then we can have a look at some. I'm going to get rid of that. Now I did get my heat gun out to speed up the drying of the gesso, but I don't think I'm going to need it. So I'm going to make sure that is screwed back on tight with the gesso, so that is put away, so we don't need that. We can get rid of that because I don't think I need that. And then what I'm going to do is explain how I stamp this robin. So get the stamps back again, and I'm just going to now, okay, if you remember, I did a couple of videos quite a few months back explaining what colouring mediums to go with what ink pads. Now, because I am using alcohol-based inks, I will need a water-based ink pad. So I'm going in with Memento Tuxedo Black, and I'm going to retrieve my block, and then I'm just going to stamp this. There's a reason. I know I've got one stamped already, but there's a reason why I'm showing you this, because I'm going to show you how to line your die up with your stamped image. So we have got a lovely stamped image of a robin, which is very nice indeed. I'm just going to bring in these sheets. There we go, that's what I was looking for. And just clean our stamps. As most of you know, and I hope you're getting into the habit as well, is to always clean your stamps after you've finished using them, even though you're going to use probably the same ink pad. Well, if you're going to use the same ink pad, not necessarily, but if you're going, if that's all you're going to do with it, then clean your stamps. Right, so I've got that stamped onto my nice piece of card. I'm just going to get the die, and I'm going to show you, because some of you might have difficulties or problems trying to line up the die with a stamped image. Well, this is a way of going around it and getting and doing it. So all I've done here is stamped or die cut the robin out of and you can place that and use the get rid of those. So what you can do is just line this up as carefully and as accurately as you possibly can. Just take your time, and then it would help if you got this ready already, but me being me, just get a piece of the tape and just eyeball this very carefully and put the die back in its place, and hopefully we will have a nice, I'm just going to get my, so I might have to just trim a little bit off of this because it might be too big, so I'm just gonna, that's a bit better. Right, so I'm using the small Gemini because I know this will fit through, and there's no point sometimes getting the big one out when you've only just got this to do. So I'm just going to rotate your folder, so put that in there, put that in there, and then we can put this through the Gemini, and hopefully this will work. And I've got a nice border around the bird. Put the Gemini, and that's the Gemini Mini from Crafter's Companion, and I keep that handy because you don't always, well, I don't always need the big one. I've got the Gemini Mini, the Mini, the Midi, so I've got about 3 of them. And then we can just take this out. It's not too bad. I should have put it up a bit that way, but anyway, but if you take a bit more time, that should work. So I'm going to put that to one side, put the die back, and then it did work because the first time I did it, it was pretty good. So it does work. I just need, it's a bit of practice really. And yeah, so this is the one I did earlier. I got a nice white border all the way around, so it is quite good. It is a way of doing it. And that's for the stencil. We could put that. So all I'm going to do now is just color this, and I didn't go particularly mad with this. I just got some colors out, and these are Crafter's Companion or Spectrum Noir tri-blends. So you got the 3 colors, or you can, if you want to, if you've got the Nouveau, which is Tonic Studios, and again I've used these before, so you've got the 3 different shades. So I'm just going to do his breast and just, and I'm not going to do a lot on this because I've done colouring before and I didn't think it's good just to, but mind you, there's no harm going over things because you might have forgotten or you're new, so there could be a few reasons. So I'm going to go in with a light one again and just blend that in, so I've not got quite, but I've still got a light bit in the middle, and I'm just going to go in with the dark, and I'm rushing this, so I want to get it done. I'm just going to go around the outside and just bring up a bit of the colour, and again I'm just going to go in with the light colour and just blend all that in together and just get rid of any harsh lines. And you can do this several times, it doesn't matter, it will just highlight and bring the colours out. But as I'm doing this in a kind of rush, well, not rush, I don't want to spend masses of time colouring. I just want to give you an idea of what this will look like completed. So I'm just going to spend a little time. So I'm going over the whole robin with this lightish brown. I'm just going to go around the eye. So, and then I'm just going to go in with a mid colour, the mid brown in this particular, and just highlight the outside of the wing, which we've got there, and the tail, and a bit around the top of his head, just to emphasize that a little bit. And I know my colouring is a bit wonky, it's gone over the edge a little bit, but that's fine. I can live with that. And then I'm just going to go in with a light colour again, and just to blend all that in. And then lastly, the dark, they're very dark. And I'm just, see, what I'm going to do with the dark is just where these highlights, where it's been drawn, that is where I'm just going to put the dark. And I just need to emphasize this part of the wing, and then the tail. And I'm just going to leave it like that really, and I'm just going to actually just highlight in this beak. So I've left a little bit of the white, and it just emphasizes and highlights the eye, so it doesn't so I haven't really covered it, I just left it and just gone around it. So so yeah, you can see that I have still got a bit of an eye, so I can put that to one side. He's already done, he's all done. We could put the alcohol markers back because they are finished with, we don't need those. And then what we need to do now is get our embossed piece, which is here. There we go. So I've embossed this using the embossing folder which comes with a kit, which is this one here. So again, use your instructions on your machine to make sure you use the right sandwich for embossing folders. I used mine on the Gemini MIDI, but I also used the purple shim to get the embossing. And if you want a slightly deeper embossing, just put a shim of card through on top of your layers if you want it slightly deeper, and then that will give you a slightly crisper embossing. So what we're going to do now is just going to tear into this, and then we're just going to ink the top of it. Now you see there is a way of tearing this, because I'm tearing it towards me, because I want these like fluffy bits on the edge of my card, because that's where I'm going to colour. So I'm just going to go all the way around and just keep tearing towards me. And the other thing with that embossing folder, because it's a nice one, you can actually emboss the opposite corner as well, and make a frame, so that would be good. So again, I'm getting rid of the straight edges, so I'm just going down preparing it. And it doesn't matter if you've gone into the embossing slightly, that's absolutely fine. Just want it the same all over. And then a little bit along the bottom, just very narrow. And just take your time. I'm just going to get rid of this bit here. And those can all go in the bin. We can in our mat, and then we're just going to get our blending tool and then get some distress inks. Now for this you can use either your oxides or your normal distress inks, so I'm going to use my normal distress inks, and I'm going to use, I'll tell you the color, Broken China. So and you just basically what you need to do is just tickle the top of the embossing, and it just brings it out. So yeah, so you can see it's just brought out the highlighted the embossing a little bit. So I'm just going to go, let me just do a little bit more actually. So I'm just going to just go over it a little bit more, and then we can use a different color for the edges, so you can go as dark or subtle as you want. It's just, for me personally, just to bring out the embossing which is done. And it doesn't matter if you've got some like little areas like this, because that just adds to the character. So I'm just going to put that back, and I'm going to go and get Emerald Lagoon, a nice deep blue, and I'm just going to brush this around the edge of the just to emphasize the torn bits, and that's all I want on this. So it just highlights that. So we've got a nice border all the way around our torn bit of. And now I think we can put all this together. I'm just going to check that that is dry. See, just leaving it a few minutes at room temperature, it's completely dried all that. So that's why I left it just for a few minutes. Just, well, you see how long I've, do the other bits and pieces, colouring the robin, So yeah, so I would recommend, if you do decide to do this, do all of your stamping, put your gesso down, put your glitter down, and just leave it to one side to dry. And as I said, it hasn't taken that long. The other thing as well, if you want, with this one, with this bit here, you can also use your oxides. Don't be afraid to go in with your oxides if you so desire. And again, with the stamping on the background, if you want to use your oxides, you could do so. So yes, so that's another option for you. So I'm just going to clean all this up, and then put that to one side, and I think we are now ready to assemble our Christmas card. So we have got right, I have done a it's exactly the same as I've done before. So I've got a card blank which is measuring well, as I explained before, it was like 5 3/4 or 14.5 centimeters. So 14.5 centimeters, nearly 15. It's probably just 14.7 or something ridiculous. But 5 3/4. So my background piece of card is 5.5 by 5.5, obviously, which in owed money is 14 by 14. So that is your measurements for that. My decorated piece of card came down to 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, which in new money is 13.5 by 13.5. So that goes on to there like that. And then we can bring in our other elements. So basically what you're doing is just making yourself a glorified topper. So you can use double-sided if you so desire. For quickness, I am just using my Crafter's Companion snail. And you can obviously have this as, let's go for a tent fold, because I've done a normal fold. So again, you've got that option, your preference. So let's put that down, and then we can get our we put that to one side, and if some glitter does come off, which it will, just give it a wipe, but it shouldn't come off that much. And then we can bring our card back in. Now, do you remember me saying about that straight edge up there? If that irritates you, put it onto the side, which isn't going to work because that will make the stamping up the wrong way. So forget that, and then we just put that down like that, press that gear, and we have got, I mean, in all honesty, you don't need to do anything more to that. I mean, that is just nice as it is. And you can just put a greeting or something on there, and you've got a really quick ready-made Christmas card. So you could just leave it like that, put a sentiment on, Merry Christmas, let it snow, whatever, and that's your Christmas cards done. And you can batch make these, you know, do all your stamping, then do all your gesso, and there you go. But because we have done these elements, we will use them. So I'm just going to put a bit of that down there, that down there, and and then we are going to put that to one side in the corner like that, and then we are going to get our robin and some 3D foam pads. Now if you want the robin to lay flat because of postage, then absolutely you can do that. So let's get some 3D foam pads onto him, and then onto his foot, and then one on his tail, just to make that and then we could just peel these off. And then we can just pop our robin down like that, and there you have, ladies and gentlemen, your another Christmas card using and that is a mixed media Christmas card for you. So mixed media, we've used different mediums. So obviously we stamped the background, we used gesso and then some glamour dust or glitter. We've done the embossing folder and inked it, done our robin, coloured that. So you have got about 2 or 3 different elements there, alcohol inks and stamping. So yes, so there is your mixed media Christmas card. And if I bring the other one in we did last time, using the same collection, you've got 2 completely different looks, but it's using the same collection. And this is why I like card making. And if you've got all different mediums in that, then you know there's nothing stopping you from achieving something like this. And as I've demonstrated, it's fairly straightforward. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you so much for staying with me, and if you like what you see and you like my videos, please like and subscribe below and hit that subscribe button, and then you will get notifications when I upload new videos. Thank you for your company, and I will see you soon. Thank you muchly. Bye bye.